is a tricky situation. And you work a solution within the framework laid out historically and within these rulings.
Yeah.
Who would put a final stamp of acceptance on that?
You see,
Is it tricky?
the community. The answer is the community, not courts of law. You see, the answer is very important, the question is very important. The idea of working within the law is that we don't have to go back to the law. You follow? So the idea is not to go back to the law. The idea is to take from the law as it stands cues, so to speak. And when we take these cues and work within it and work harmoniously within it, that perhaps would be a way out. Yes?
If you had a civil marriage, okay, whoever two people who had a civil marriage, they're married. Now the next marriage you do 10 days later, to my mind it's a tamasha. It's not a marriage. So how does the fairas done after the civil marriage affect anything? Because once you're married, you can't get married over and over again. That's just for the public. So then why would the fairas or or our ceremony, anything that is done for public consumption, you already know.
I follow.
So then how are you saying the fairas make a
Yeah. The answer given to you is, in the words of a very, very great, one of the greatest ever US Supreme Court judges, Justice Holmes, that the life of the law is not logic but experience. See, logic often fails, and experience often teaches us that though something may be wrong, it is something that is accepted. Now, the answer therefore to be given to you is that whether a fera is or is not taken, we'll assume that now it is taken, and we assume also that what you say is correct and equally what the opposite side says is correct. We assume that both of you are correct. The trouble is, what would a court of law do? A court of law would, I mean, it's a possible view. Your view is a possible view. The other side's view is an equally possible. A court of law could perhaps go this way, could perhaps go the other. The answer, therefore, is not whether you are right or the other side is right. The answer is something different. The answer is assume the other side is correct. There's a very simple way out. The way out is to Navjot the person again.
But then it should apply to boys and girls equally.
Of course it would.
If a boy does a fera after he's been married and all,
Yeah.
then he should have his navjot done.
Yes.
And all intermarried boys who also had
Yes.
done out.
If there is a challenge, in a court, it would have to be met. You are right.
But we say we are a proselytizing religion.
Implying that the reply given by the head priest of yes to the Rivayat
Yeah.
is considered as sanctified by the faith.
No, it is not. You see,
Because we are going on that assumption.
no. You see, we are not going on any assumption. The only reason the rivayats were brought in my talk, and the reason that the answers were given to you in such detail was to tell you two things. One is that the religion itself definitely says proselytize, first. The second is that it would not be correct to say that there is any negative custom in this country. The negative custom being that because nobody has been converted on Indian soil, out goes conversion. There was enough in this country for persons to ask repeatedly that, look, we have servants. And that's why the English judge correctly says, started on the wrong foot. In terms of caste, in terms of class, it started on the wrong foot. You see? When it starts on the wrong foot, what happens is you get the wrong answer. But despite that, you got the right answer from there, from the mother country. The mother country has never flinched in saying, yes, you must. And by the third rivayat, if you remember, the first rivayat was 1478, the third was 1773. By the time of the third rivayat, there were servants, boys and girls, who had in fact already been given the faith. And the question was a different question. The question was, having been given the faith, are they entitled to go to the Rakma or not? So, the object of quoting the Riwayats is only to say that there was no negative custom in this country. And since there was no negative custom, any conclusion based on such negative custom is incorrect. Yes.
To property rights of those who are supposed to be given the permission to convert?
No, not directly. No. Which is why the all-important distinction is made by the Privy Council between property rights and community worship rights. This door is ajar under the Privy Council judgment only for community worship rights, not property rights. Yes.
If someone, a non-Parsi, goes abroad and converts to the religion in Canada or any such place where it's allowed to,
Yes.
and when he comes back to India or she comes back to
Yeah.
India, and what is their position then as far as the Parsi in India are concerned?
Exactly the same position as any other person who is not born of a Parsi father.
So what happens? Can
No, he cannot.
go into the fight?
No, he cannot.
He is an Ashton now.
Maybe. But there's a dual qualification. Ethnic is Parsi father. He cannot. Yes.
Parsi mother doesn't mind.
No.
Two things actually. One was regarding, you were saying that Parsi girls married outside only Delhi and a few places allow. I just want to point out that the High Priest of Udwara these days himself has been allowing children who have Parsi mothers who have had their navjods to enter even Udwara.
That he can do under the Bela judgment. Because then it is up to trustees of an institution.
Okay.
Yes.
So that has been allowed in the Udwara Atas.
Right.
So that has happened. Secondly, on the issue of the constitution allowing for gender equality, why should a girl who's married outside not have the same rights as a boy who's married outside?
All right.
So can that be raised in court?
Yeah, I have to answer that. You see, it is answered by saying gender equality is contained in Article 15, if you have ever read our constitution. Now, Article 15 says that only certain institutions, which does not include temples, least of all private temples, like public roads, public tanks, public wells, etc., persons can use without discrimination as to sex. So the answer is, number one, Article 15 doesn't cover temples. Number two, all religious rights of a particular community otherwise are preserved, subject to only three exceptions: public order, morality, and health. So that if the state makes a law which interferes, and mind you, unlike Article 15, the rest of the fundamental rights chapter is only citizen against state, not citizen against citizen. 15 can perhaps go, so far let us say as a public tank is concerned, to a citizen against another citizen who obstructs you. But all the other articles, including 25, 26, which deal with religious rights, are that you are given your religious rights as they stand today, and as they stand under the two judgments therefore, subject to Parliament making a law in the interest of public order, morality, or health. So the Constitution doesn't take you forward at all.
You kept referring,
Just 1 minute, he wants to ask us.
you kept referring, say, go back to the 18th century person who set up the trust fund. I have a very basic question. What if you went back 10,000 years ago to the prophet Zoroaster? What would he have said?
He was very clear. He said unequivocally, time out of number, in the Gathas, that this is a universal religion.
So
And-
somewhere we lost that message of the prophet. And we made
Not
our own
somewhere,
rules.
in this country we lost it. It's in this country. Yes, not somewhere. Ava, would you mind if he asks a question? Yes, yes.
One thing I want to say, that every family which goes through this process of intermarriage, where the child
Yeah,
goes into the intermarriage stage, there is a revolt, there is an anger in stage 1.
yeah,
Stage 2 is acceptance.
yeah,
And stage 3 is promoting intermarriage,
yeah.
which is what I have been observing, all the time. This is one comment I want to make.
You may be right as to 1 and 2, I don't know about 3.
Akbar being presented with the Sadra custody or whatever, it reminds me of Modi where the topi was, the fez cap was supposed to be put on, but that would not have converted Modi into a Muslim.
Of course it would.
Similarly, we cannot say that Akbar was converted into Parsi by that same concept.
Yeah, that's a good point. No, no, one minute. That's a very good point, because what you are saying is, the fact that he accepted this didn't mean that he accepted it exclusively. That's your point. Yeah, you put your point a little differently. He accepted every faith, including this. Huh. That's a good point, yes.
I have a question, sorry, sorry.
No, you please ask, because you haven't asked yet.
My question is, if a case like this comes up in court, will you recuse yourself?
Yes. Goes without saying, yes. Yes.
The lady behind brought in a context.
I have certain strong views, yes.
The lady behind brought in a context of gender equality,
Yes.
and you speak of studying the Prophet's words as they were.
Yes.
Amongst the many myths that you've broken today, you speak about sugar in the cup milk story.
Yes.
I recall, possibly incorrectly, a book that I read in Bombay by Mayor Master Moose. It spoke about the Prophet saying that a girl who's giving birth to a child out of wedlock also is ought to be respected and protected.
Prophet said no such thing. Because the only body that we have of literature we have from the Prophet is the Gathas. And in the Prathas, the Prophet has said no such thing.
So in terms of gender equality and the way you conceptualize the fundamental rights, and you rightly say that it's limited to public
Wells, tanks, etc.
yes, wells, tanks, etc. The directive principles that speak of equality, when you look at it in that context,
That again would only be to the state making laws.
yes,
Is it?
that is not.
Now, which parliament is going to, which parliament will make a law affecting a minority community? That's what it's very, very difficult. Very difficult. But one more very important thing. Yes, the Prophet was extremely progressive, and he did not speak only of men. Often in his great lectures, he always spoke of men and women. He always used the expression men as well as women. Those who have come to hear me, men and women, constantly.
Can many of these issues not be decided by a community now?
It's very
After
difficult.
the change from
Who will take the vote? Which is the authority that takes the vote?
community at large.
What's the
What's the
community at large?
Well, all those are not excluded today, let's say.
Very difficult. You see,
You see, these things are gradual.
They don't happen at one fell swoop point of time. There has to be a gradual change, and the gradual change can occur and can hasten the process. If in fact you have institutions which are set up today for world forest. Once that happens, then perhaps a sizable body will go over there, and then there will be some churning within the community, which will bring about a certain result in between.
An example is like the ball in Bombay.
Yeah.
Rohinton, Indian laws is what you spoke, and we say that across the road, any non-Parsi cannot go into the Atas Viram. But when I went to Canada, there is a board which says, this is a Zoroastrian temple, all people are allowed, because that country allows. Mine is not a question, what happens, because we were Hindustan earlier, what is happening today in Pakistan? Do they follow the same that we are doing here, or they follow what Canada follows?
They follow what we are doing here.
They follow what we are doing. They don't convert.
I think lunch is beckoning us.
Yes,
When do we get a transcript?
Chalo.
The last question, take your time.
Would you then,
Editing, etc.
Yes, I have one question.
would you then say that you talked about that chink in the Privy Council judgment which gives discretion to the trustees So that what the Delhi Parsi Anjuman is doing is under that.
Absolutely.
So it is legal
Absolutely.
as far as we are allowing the children.
Absolutely.
So Rohinton, you just said it's illegal, so please clarify.
Yes, I know.
No, I
You
didn't
just
say it's
said
illegal.
Cyrus is
No, no.
illegal. And
Please.
this is a clink we are
No, no, no. Cyrus's query was persons who are of a completely different faith, not persons born of a Parsi mother. Parsi mother, no. Parsi mother is obviously legal. She is born of a Parsi father. Her children is legal under the Privy Council judgment, provided trustees like these exercise their discretion. Yes. Yes. No. No. Answer is no. Only here and any other institution which may perhaps be in Jamshedpur. I don't know. Yazar may be able to answer.
Yes and no, a little gray
Yes,
area.
grey area. But as far as I know, only Delhi.
So we come to an end of our talk. As we proceed for lunch, I thank you, Rohinton, once again. And all of you gathered here today on a Sunday afternoon to listen to this lecture. And we'll keep the series going. Thank you.
Thank you.